Go ahead.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's session, MuleSoft Capabilities and Integration Demos. Thank you for joining today's session. I'm excited to share details about MuleSoft tool today. A quick introduction about me. I'm Abdul Kavi Sheikh, and I'm an integration solution architect. I have experience in different integration technologies that includes ESB, SOA, and ETL tools. So let's get started. So today I'm going to present two topics. First one is MuleSoft capabilities, and we will see a quick demos on Salesforce integration patterns using Salesforce connector that MuleSoft provides. So regarding the MuleSoft capabilities, so we have different capabilities MuleSoft provides. One is the unified platform. So what it means is like, as you know, organizations use different tools to do different integration requirements. So what MuleSoft has done is it has created a single tool for different integration patterns. We can do integrations using ESB and ETL, and also using microservices architecture. So all together, this single platform provides all these features. So you don't have to use different tools to achieve the integration. And it also provides the single tool for API lifecycle management. So you can design, implement, manage, secure, share, and monitor and analyze APIs. So it provides a single design center wherein you can design your API specifications. Then you can create reusable artifacts within those APIs, reusable components within those APIs, and you can publish it to Exchange. So that is the second capability wherein you can manage all your reusable artifacts in a single repository. So this is similar to your App Exchange where you manage your application. So similar to that, MuleSoft provides Anypoint Exchange where all the APIs and the Mule applications can be shared and reused across the organization. So once you have built any artifact, that can be published to Exchange so that others can discover and reuse. So MuleSoft also provides flexible deployments. So MuleSoft runtimes can be deployed on the cloud, on premises, and hybrid deployment environments. So MuleSoft platform is scalable and it is enterprise ready. So you can scale all your Mule applications either horizontally or vertically. Horizontally, in the sense, you can increase the memory capacity on a particular runtime nodes, and horizontal scalability means we can actually add more worker nodes to increase the scalability of your applications. MuleSoft also provides connectors to popular SaaS applications on premises and different databases, file, and other publish subscribe protocols.
Hey, Abdul, sorry to interrupt.
Okay, moving on. So as I mentioned, the first point, the MuleSoft provides a unified platform. So with this platform, you can actually build APIs similar to what we have in Salesforce, the REST APIs and SOAP APIs, and you can also build real-time and the synchronous patterns and asynchronous patterns within those APIs. We can also build different kinds of integrations similar to what ESB tools, SOA tools, and ETL tools can provide. So, for example, with ESB, you can have publish, subscribe modules, and queuing technologies. And with similar to SOA, you can also build the business process automation across the applications. And like an ETL tool, Informatica, or any other tool, Dell Boomi, we can also build the batch processing within the MuleSoft tool for synchronizing the data. So it also supports the microservices architecture, and it also supports integrations across business to business applications to shared documents across multiple trading partners, and it also helps connect and orchestrate data on IoT devices. As I mentioned, the MuleSoft provides complete full API development lifecycle. So MuleSoft provides different tools to achieve the complete development life cycle, which has, three phases: design, build, and, manage. So with this tool, you can actually design your APIs, simulate, that is the mock your API services, unit test it, then get the feedback, validate, and if there are any changes, you can, uh, implement those changes, and until you the requirements are satisfied and completed, you can have a final API specification. Then once the API specification is ready, that you can publish it to Exchange, and this can be used to build the actual implementation of the API. And within the for building this, we have two tools: API Designer and Studio. With the API Designer, you can actually build simple applications for demoing, and with Studio, you can actually build the complete full-fledged applications that is developers have to install in the local machine. And within the Mule applications, you can also have MUnit, which you can use it to unit test your applications. Once these applications are tested thoroughly, and these can be, deployed to different Mule runtimes, whether it is cloud, on-premises, or hybrid. And once those applications are deployed, you have Anypoint Platform tools to manage these applications. You can also apply, policies, and then monitor and troubleshoot your application through different tools that Anypoint Platform provides. And the APIs, actually, MuleSoft proposes to use the API-led connectivity to develop applications. So in this API-led connectivity, we have three layers of APIs. So the first layer is the system APIs, wherein, we can unlock the data from different SaaS applications, mainframe, or any applications or databases. So these are basically talking directly to the backend applications. So the system APIs unlock this data from all these applications. And the next layer of application APIs is process APIs, wherein you can build orchestration using those system APIs. So once you have developed your system APIs, these can be reused in your process layer for orchestration. And the third layer is the experience layer, wherein you can have, once you have the APIs, either system APIs or process APIs, you can actually build the experience APIs to support different applications. So once you have this structure of API-led connectivity, you start with a small project, you develop your reusable assets, and you slowly build your application network. That is what MuleSoft suggests to adopt, application network concept to build the integration. So we start with the small projects. Then once you have that reusable assets, you publish it to Exchange. And when you're building your next project, you check in your Exchange whether you can reuse those assets and consume them to build, the application network across multiple applications. So the quick overview about the Anypoint Platform. So Anypoint Platform has multiple tools, and we have control plane and runtime plane. With the control plane, actually you manage all your Mule APIs and applications, and runtime plane is where your Mule applications are deployed. So in the control plane, we have Anypoint Design Center. In the Anypoint Design Center, we have different tools to design APIs and Mule applications. The API Designer, as I mentioned, it is a web-based tool wherein we can actually quickly build applications for POCs and demos. And we have a Studio tool where developers can install that in your local machine to develop your full-fledged application. So with Anypoint Studio, there is an inbuilt runtime manager, Mule runtime available so that the developers can unit test those applications. This I am going to demo after some time. Then we have a connector kit, wherein, as I mentioned, MuleSoft provides multiple connectors for different applications that are widely used in the market. So if the connectors are not available, we can develop new connectors for those applications using connector dev kit. And as I mentioned in the center, we have an Anypoint Exchange, wherein all the artifacts that we develop that can be published, and others can discover and consume them. And we have Anypoint Management Center where we can manage all our APIs that are being deployed onto Runtime Manager. And we have API Manager wherein you can manage and define the policies for your APIs, similar to what we have in Salesforce, like governor limits. So if you have developed any APIs, we can build, attach SLA policies for rate limiting, saying that, okay, I should limit, only these many number of API calls for any consumer. Those sort of things we can define in API Manager. And we have analytics tool to monitor, how my APIs are performing, what is the request and response times. All those analytics can be developed using analytics. And in the runtime plane, we have the Mule runtime services. As I mentioned, the Mule runtime engine can be deployed on premises or on cloud, or it can be a hybrid approach. By default, MuleSoft provides Cloud Hub as a platform as a service for deploying our Mule applications. We can also have the Mule runtime infrastructure set up in our on-premises, or we can also use a hybrid deployment topology. With Cloud Hub offerings, so we can also utilize Amazon Cloud Hub, or Azure, or any other cloud provider to deploy our Mule runtimes. So moving on, so I will quickly run through the Salesforce connector. So MuleSoft provides Salesforce connector, and this connector supports all the operations that are available within the Salesforce as an integration interface layer. For example, Salesforce supports, provides REST API, SOAP API, bulk API, streaming API, and change data capture, platform events, and metadata API. So all these APIs are, all this application programming interface of Salesforce are available through Salesforce connector. So we don't have to write any coding. So we just have to drag the connector, configure the Salesforce connection, either through username, password, security token, or using O authentication, and we can readily use that without any programming, which I'm going to demo in a couple of minutes. So just to quickly brief you about different integration Salesforce integration patterns that we can develop using MuleSoft. So migration pattern, wherein you can migrate one-off data from your different legacy applications into Salesforce, and we have a broadcast pattern wherein anything changes in Salesforce, or we want to periodically schedule every 5 minutes to pull the data from Salesforce and broadcast that data to other systems. We can achieve that with the MuleSoft. And there is an aggregation pattern wherein, say, for example, you have Ansys Analytics, wherein you want to pull the data from Salesforce and different other applications for your reporting purposes. Similar to that, if you want to build any kind of aggregations, we should be able to achieve that pattern with MuleSoft as well. And the next pattern is the bidirectional synchronization, wherein we can synchronize the data between two applications as and when changes happen, either real time or near real time. And the last pattern is a correlation pattern. This is similar to bidirectional synchronization. Only difference is, instead of synchronizing all the data, we synchronize the minimum common data to save the space, and we can achieve the data virtualizations using the common identifier. Say, for example, similar to external objects you have in Salesforce, right? So if you have a common key, we should be able to get the data from external systems and show it in Salesforce. Similar to that, we can, rather than synchronizing all the data, we just synchronize the common data. So I would like to quickly demo 3 patterns today. So first one is the data migration pattern, wherein we will read the data from CSV file, accounts data, and upload that data into Salesforce as well. So let me quickly demo that. So this is the Anypoint Studio, which I have installed in my local machine to build the Mule applications. So I have an application which actually reads the data from CSV file and uploads into Salesforce. So I'm quickly deploying this application. As I mentioned, this Anypoint Studio comes with inbuilt runtime services as part of this tool so that developers can build applications and test them. Just to quickly show you, I have a CSV file in my local directory, which contains around 100 accounts. So this I am going to upload into Salesforce. So to achieve this, I have used two connectors. One is the file connector and another one is the Salesforce connector. So while this application is getting deployed, so what I've done is I have used the bulk API to upload the data. Even though we have 100 accounts here, I have used the bulk API to upload the data from CSV file into Salesforce. The application is still getting deployed. Okay, the application is deployed. Now using the Postman, the way I've developed this application is as a API. So I'm going to run this API to read the file, data from the file and upload into Salesforce. So you can see here this list view is blank, so I'm just refreshing. So 100 accounts should get uploaded into Salesforce. So you can see the accounts have been uploaded from the file into Salesforce. So what I have used here is a file connector and a Salesforce connector. So this is very simple. If I go into detail, it is going to take time. So I've just demonstrated quickly to how to read the file and upload into Salesforce. So we'll move on to next demo. The next pattern is a broadcast pattern. Here, what I'm doing is like from one Salesforce arc. So as soon as the data is created or updated, so we'll be periodically reading this data from Salesforce and broadcasting this data to MuleSoft, which in turn will actually update the data into different systems. Say for example, here I am updating the data, creating those 100 accounts into another Salesforce org. And also I'm writing the data to Oracle database, and I'm also creating a CSV file. So let me quickly demo this. So I have a local directory here, which is a target directory, which is empty, which again, a file should be created here. And I have another Salesforce org where I don't have any accounts. And how do I move this control? So I have an application developed on Oracle database to show the customer data. I'm going to run this Mule application, another application which is read data from SFDC and create file and insert data into database, and another Salesforce org. So I'm just going to run this application. So I got a response saying that copied data to file DB and SFDC. I'm going to quickly check here in another Salesforce org. So you can see the data has been created in another Salesforce org, and also I'm going to refresh the application on which I've developed using Oracle database. You can see all the data has been created in Oracle database, and I'm going to check my target directory. You can see that this file has been created. And third pattern which I'm going to demo is like bidirectional synchronization. So in this, what we are going to do is like any changes that happens in Salesforce org1. So either the new account gets created or modified, that we read it in near real time and update that customer data into Oracle database as well as other Salesforce org. And also we have a bidirectional sync wherein if any record gets created or modified in another org, so that can be in real time synchronized with SFDC, another Salesforce org. So this I'm going to do a quick demo. For this, I need to deploy a different application. So let me deploy another application. In this application, actually, I have used Salesforce triggers concept. MuleSoft provides, similar to Salesforce triggers. MuleSoft also provide event-based triggers wherein we can listen for the changes on any object, whether a new record gets created or modified or deleted. So I have utilized that using a Salesforce connector to read any changes in Salesforce org and synchronize the data with other applications. Here, because this is event based, I don't have to run anything. So this is automatically pulling the data from Salesforce. Once this application gets deployed, I'm going to make few changes in this Salesforce org1. So those changes should get reflected in my another org or another Oracle database. Okay, the application is deployed. I have scheduled this application to run every 2 minutes. Sorry, this application is a little bit slow. So I've scheduled using fixed frequency. This is going to poll every 2 minutes to see whether any changes have occurred in Salesforce org. Then it's going to read the data and update other databases or other orgs. So I'm going to change the rating on this ZZ test customer to warm and save it. And also in the meantime, I'm going to create a new customer in another Salesforce org so that I will show the integration from the other side. From other Salesforce org, the new account that gets created should come into my SFDC org. So I'm using an external ID to actually perform the upset operation. So I'm just updating this Oracle ID here. So we're just waiting to see the update. So hopefully in a minute, the data should get updated. So I can see the log. So hopefully the update should come across here. So I had updated the rating from hot to warm. So you can see the update has come across to another Salesforce org. Similarly, let me check the Oracle database as well. You can see I have not refreshed this application, so the customer rating is still hot. So I'm just refreshing. So you can see it was updated. And also the new account which I created on this Salesforce org should also get reflected in other org, hopefully. Yeah, you can see that the new account which I created on other org has come across to SFDC org 1. So that will conclude the different demos using the Salesforce connector. Any questions?
Yep, thank you, Abdul. Team, if you have any questions, you can unmute and ask or put it in the chat.
Abdul, this is Prasanna. I have one question. So,
Yeah.
very high level question. So, if for a Salesforce developer who is very conversant with integration, code writing, and REST and SOAP API and all that, will this make sense for them to take it up as an advancement in their career? Is it a value add, or is this a completely specialized skill set, especially for integration professionals?
Actually, it will be definitely a value add presence. So, for example, if we because as a Salesforce developer, we understand a lot of things how Salesforce works. So, if there are any integrations, that Salesforce developers can contribute. So, definitely, instead of coding, this is simple. Simply, we can achieve it through configurations and little bit of data view knowledge. If they learn, so they should be able to pick up quickly. So definitely, definitely it will be a value added to them.
Oh, very good, cool. And hopefully, if anybody evinces interest, you can guide them in terms of what is the learning process, the certifications, and so on and so forth, right?
Yeah, I will share it in email how to start. People who are interested can get started. So we can actually register for Anypoint platform free trial, and also they can download this tool in their local machine. And there is a self-study course available, which I will share across to everyone, so that whoever is interested can explore on that.
Perfect. Yeah. Thanks, Abdul.
Abdul, the trial version is available for 30 days, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
But we can keep on registering, get new versions in, anytime we want, and then we can keep experimenting, if you want to test out integrations.
Yeah. Yes.
Or is there any recommended? Is there any recommended approach?
If you wanted to exclusively develop APIs, then you might, Anypoint platform, that 30-day trial might be useful. So if you are just working on the integrations, I think Anypoint Studio, if you download, so you can actually learn anytime. That is not a restriction. So in case you have to develop APIs, design APIs by writing API specifications, then you develop mule applications for those APIs, then you need both. Otherwise, if you are just working on integrations, I think Anypoint Studio would be sufficient.
Yeah. So my question is directly from a like similar to what Prasanna asked. Let's say I'm a developer. Okay. So I want to test an integration. Like right now we are using Postman quite a lot, but let's say I want to send out a platform event and I want to check how it responds, or maybe a push topic or a CDC, right? Yeah. So if I want to test that out, or even an outbound message, if I want to test that out, like you said, the connectors are already available. So all I need to do is install Anypoint Studio, put the connector in, and just connect it and test it, right?
Yeah, for the simple test, actually, you can utilize the Anypoint platform designer as well. So the designer, it is quite useful for doing quick POCs. So wherein you just drag the connector, configure it, and you just log the message to see whether platform event has fired or not.
Got it. And we can even configure it to send a response back to Salesforce, correct?
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
So either you can use it as a source, or either you can use it as a target.
Got it. Thank you.
Any other questions from anyone?
Hi, Abdul. This is Srishti.
Yeah, hi.
So I have two questions. The first question is related to data migration pattern. So in the data migration pattern, you have used the CSV file, right? So my
Yeah.
question is, where we have to perform the field mapping for it?
Yeah, the field mapping is part of the transformation logic that we use in MuleSoft. Okay, any integration tool has got capabilities to transform data, and there is a separate language here. We call it as data view language. So we do the transformations within that by using a transformation processor available in Mule.
Okay, so it works in the same manner how we are field mapping in the data loader, right? The concept is the same.
Yes, so you have a visual editor, and you also have, you can, if you are comfortable, directly writing the code, you can do that. Otherwise, we have a visual a transformation mapper as well, so that you can map the fields. So for that, actually, you need the metadata of the source and the target. So once that is available, you can visually, map these fields.
Okay, okay, thank you. The second question is related to the same migration part. So is this works in the asynchronous mode, or if there is any failure in the file, so will it halt the execution, or it will just provide the success file and the failure file? So how?
So we're talking about the file,
Yeah.
file alone or any application.
So when you have uploaded a file with 100 records, and just take an example, 95 records got success and 5 has a failure. So will it execute 95 and will it halt the execution for the entire file itself?
Can you please repeat again? So if there are any changes in the file?
Not changes. Maybe there are some data mismatch for the 5 records, okay? Or maybe the data is corrupted. And when you are executing this, the 95 records has a success result and 5 has a failure. 5 has a, like maybe they have some issue with the data, okay? So in that case, what will happen? Will it execute the entire file or it will stop?
So basically, it entirely depends on, how do you manage that exceptional handling within the MuleSoft. Okay. If, for example, you are actually checking the validations within the Mule, right? So you can have a strategy there wherein you can decide, okay, out of 100 records, 95 has successfully passed my validation, so I will insert it. The remaining 5, I will log into an error file or send that into an email saying that to the support team, these records have been changed. So it entirely depends on the business requirements and how we define those rules when we write the transformation logic in Mule.
Okay, okay. So that we can define by
Yeah.
our own. Okay, okay. Got it. Thank you. Thank you so much.
No problem. Any other questions?
Okay, I guess we don't have any more. Thank you very much, Abdul, for this great session and content.
Thank you all. Thanks for your participation.